Kazimba urges the corrupt to embrace Easter for spiritual renewal. Minister Lauryn warns against social media misuse. And the MPs split over proposal to ban public fund donations. Good evening once again. Now, as Uganda accelerates its digital transformation journey, the government is sounding the alarm over the growing misuse of social media, particularly among the youth. Now, the Minister for ICT and National Guidance, Dr. Lauryn, raised these concerns during the launch of a new national digital safety initiative. We have the details.
This is a spam message.
It was a high-end event that brought together government officials, telecom leaders and digital experts united by a common goal, making Uganda's online space safer and more productive.
Scam follows spam. Honourable Minister, the Commission established an AI task force in 2024 to develop a concept note upon which we shall be engaging stakeholders. Airtel Uganda has now set the pace with this utility and spam service.
Government was compelled to put in place a law, the Computer Misuse Act, that if you communicate using digital devices wrongly, then you can be brought to book because we created offenses in our laws.
The minister's warning comes at a time when misinformation, cybercrime and digital fraud are increasingly affecting the public, especially youth. He praised Airtel Uganda for stepping forward with a new anti-spam campaign, which he says complements the government's efforts to promote responsible digital citizenship.
Especially now as we go into the political season. I know we don't have many young people here, but they are following this discussion. So we appeal to them to use communication platforms positively and for the progress of our country.
The campaign launched by Airtel Uganda aims to shield customers from spam, phishing scams and other online threats by enhancing digital security across its network.
This is, the reach is to all the Airtel customer, be it a smartphone customer or a feature phone customers. Every customer can be benefited through this solution. We are launching first with the SMS. So we are launching with anti-spam SMS. Then as and when we will see, we are also working on calls part. Maybe in the second phase, and when everything is ready, we will launch anti-spam calls also. But today we are launching anti-spam SMS.
As Uganda deepens its digital footprint, both government and industry leaders agree on protection, awareness and responsible engagement must go hand in hand. Sandra Kahonde, Robert Katamba, News Tonight.
President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni has stated that the final decision on who will carry the NRM presidential flag in the upcoming general elections will be determined by the party's top leadership and internal processes. Now, this comes in the wake of his endorsement by leaders from Greater Mubende during a stakeholder engagement held this afternoon in Kasanda district. The president is currently in the Greater Mubende sub-region on a wealth creation tour.
A cross-section of leaders in Greater Mubende sub-region have convened this Wednesday afternoon in Kasanda district to interact with the President of Uganda, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. The meeting, convened at Mirembe Maria Catholic Parish Primary School, forms part of President Museveni's second day visit in the area.
We should feel proud to be NRM members under the wise leadership of His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. Buli wali Yesu neko basuna kumuno mugambe yes, fwe tuli ba NRM.
Addressing leaders as they waited for the president, Prime Minister Robin Anabanja highlighted key government accomplishments.
Life expectancy in Uganda has increased in the recent years, with a notable jump from 48.9 years in the year 2000 to 68 years in the year 2024.
According to the Premier, this has come around as a result of improvement in health care, education, among others.
Increase the access to clean and safe water. Muchikubire mungalo. Bwenkuba point njagala nze vibe mpozi mwagala mbire kenze. Nesagala kunsumagiza.
President Kaguta Museveni, the Chief Whip Creation Conference convener, later joined the gathering.
And he has said in his speeches that he has been working us out of poverty for over 60 years.
Top on the day's agenda was a regional memorandum presented by the Lands and Housing Minister Judith Nabakoba.
Your Excellency, we particularly thank you for your exceptional leadership during the Ebola outbreak, which severely affected Kasanda and Mubende districts.
The memorandum highlighted key progress in government projects in the area.
Over 100 billion has been disbursed under the parish development model, targeting transformation at the household levels. Banaye twebaze muzeyi billion 10 ziri mu districts zaffe 5 ne municipalities 2 is a parish development model.
However, the region feels there is still a lot lacking.
However, Kasanda district has a huge challenge with the issue of Chabego Forest Reserve. It is a humble appeal that you take interest in it like you did elsewhere.
However, the region unanimously endorsed President Museveni for the 2026 presidential bid.
Ensonga bwebanga Yoweri, Your Excellency, these leaders who are here, they told me to allow us, request you, be our only and only candidate for 2026.
For the president reiterated the need for these leaders to agitate for wealth creation initiatives other than pushing for roads and other things.
From 1995, I have been telling you, seek ye first the homestead income. The rest will be added unto you.
The president, however, faulted government planners for the poor road network in key parts of the country, mainly those nearing the capital city. Museveni has also sent home leaders to go preach the beauty about having free education for all in all government schools. The Fountain of Honor also blamed Ugandans for keeping quiet as many government employees swim in corruption. He, however, hopes that empowering the resident district commissioners can bring about the change needed,
So that they know how to defend the people's interests.
Regarding his endorsement as the 2026 NRM presidential candidate by the regional leaders, Museveni says this is not time to go into that.
Presidential candidate. This one, I thank you very much for supporting my candidature. The matter will be taken to SEC and the National Conference. When the time comes.
Robert Nyango, UBC News.
Now, Japan has extended a grant of $6.6 million to the government of Uganda. The funding will go towards managing health emergencies, enhancing security and nutrition in the Karamoja sub-region, improving waste management and promoting women empowerment. During a high-level meeting held at the office of the Prime Minister in Kampala, which brought together the Japanese ambassador and United Nations officials, Prime Minister Robin Anabanja lauded Japan's continued support to the people of Uganda.
Among the major projects implemented with Japanese support are the recently launched Kampala flyover at Clock Tower, the Jinja Suspended Bridge and the Masindi Port Bridge. In addition, reconstruction of the Karuma Bridge and a new flyover to the Jinja Road traffic lights near Kitugumu House are in the pipeline. Beyond infrastructure, Japan has committed an additional $6.6 million to Uganda, this time for critical sectors such as health, emergency response, security and nutrition in Karamoja, waste management and women empowerment. Prime Minister Robin Anavanja received the announcement with a smile.
I am happy to join you today on this very important annual event where we come together as a team to celebrate the partnership between the government of Uganda and the government of Japan.
The Prime Minister pledged Uganda's continued collaboration with Japan to ensure sustainable development.
As we look to the future, the government of Uganda remains fully committed to deepening our partnership with the government of Japan. We also want to inform you that we shall continue to collaborate with the UN agencies and other development partners.
Japan's ambassador to Uganda, Sasayama Takuya, reaffirmed Japan's commitment to supporting Uganda's development agenda and improving the lives of its citizens.
Japan will stay firm to help Uganda's people to UN.
Ambassador Sasayana also revealed that Japan's funding to Uganda has increased by 50%, paving way for even more development initiatives.
Our supplementary budget for this year contribution to Uganda to the total amount of 6.6 million. Details already introduced by His Excellency Zulu, but I want to emphasize this is an increase of 50% from last year.
The $6.6 billion will be channeled through United Nations development agencies. UN Resident Coordinator Leonard Zulu welcomed the gesture and commended Japan for its consistent support.
The solidarity of the government and people of Japan is exemplary, especially in the area of disaster risk management.
Philip Aguta and Winnie Mukisa for UBC News in Kampala.
The Archbishop of the Anglican Church of Uganda, His Grace Dr. Samuel Stephen Kazimba Mugalu, has urged Ugandans to unite in combating the persistent vice of corruption. Archbishop Kazimba stressed that corruption continues to undermine national development, diverting resources meant for essential public services like hospitals, schools, and infrastructure in the hands of the selfish.
As Christians around the world approach the climax of the Lent season, the focus remains on commemorating the resurrection of Jesus Christ. The Archbishop of the Church of Uganda, the Right Reverend Dr. Stephen Samuel Kazimba Mugalu, delivered his Easter message during a televised media briefing at his official residence in Namirembe.
I pray that you extend your healing hand.
Archbishop Kazimba urged believers to use the Easter season as an opportunity to rejuvenate their faith in Jesus Christ.
Let us also renew our commitment to be faithful stewards of God's creation. Just as Easter symbolizes new life and hope, so too must we bring hope to our planet, which suffers under the weight of pollution.
He also called on Ugandans to stand together in the fight against corruption, a vice that continues to hinder the country's development.
Corruption is not only a legal and a governance issue. It is also a deeply spiritual and moral issue. It reflects a heart that has turned away from God and from loving other people, loving neighbors. To look beyond our souls and uphold integrity, justice, and accountability for the good of all Ugandans.
The raising concern about the growing instability in neighboring countries such as the DRC and South Sudan was also top on the agenda. In his Easter message to the believers, he also appealed to Ugandans to respect differing political views and work towards national unity to avoid similar occurrences.
We must not import the politics of violence, the politics of fighting. Let us be a haven of peace in the region and promote dialogue over violence. Respect for human dignity must remain at the center of our national and regional engagements.
The Church of Uganda also reaffirmed its commitment to protecting the youth from the rising threat of drug abuse, especially within schools.
Through our churches, schools, and health institutions, we shall continue to speak out, raise awareness, support rehabilitation efforts, and work with families, government, and partners to nurture a generation rooted in godly values, hope, and purpose.
The Easter celebrations for 2025 will be commemorated under the theme, Jesus' Resurrection, Our Hope for Eternity. Rebecca Nantongo, Dan Lugemwa, UBC News.
The Assistant Bishop of the Diocese of Kampala, the Right Reverend Frederick Jackson Balwa, has urged working Christians to reflect the image of God in their workplaces. Speaking at a corporate prayer breakfast meeting held at All Saints Cathedral, Kampala, he reminded Christians that they have been called to serve God wherever they are placed.
The Assistant Bishop of the Diocese of Kampala, the Right Reverend Frederick Jackson Balwa, has emphasized the importance of commitment to God, encouraging believers to embrace the virtue of work and pursue their daily duties with purpose and integrity.
Do their work as if they have forced them to work. They don't seem to be motivated to work. But we are telling them that as Christians, they should have the virtue of hard work. They should do work in a way that honors and glorifies God. They should not just do work, they should excel in their work because they believe in the God of excellence. That they need to have a deep commitment with Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior.
He also challenged them to mind their character, stressing that a godly lifestyle not only attracts others to Christ, but also helps sustain them in their professional roles.
Character is major because many people have skills, many people have the papers, but their character is unbecoming. And I actually say to them that, you see, skills, education can bring you into a job, but character can send you out.
An element of forgiveness, there should be an element of humility, there should be an element of love, which is the most important thing.
As Easter approaches, Christians are cautioned against turning the season into a time of feasting only, urging them to reflect on the death and resurrection of Jesus Christ.
So the key message of Easter is the resurrection of Christ, which proved that he is both Lord and God.
But if you don't have all the other things, let's go to church and thank God that Jesus rose again.
The National Resistance Movement, NRM, is set to introduce a new commitment form for all aspiring candidates in its upcoming party primaries. Now, according to NRM Secretary General Richard Todwong, the move is aimed at barring candidates who lose in the primaries from contesting as independents in the general elections. Todwong made the announcement during a meeting with NRM district electoral registers in Kampala ahead of the party internal elections slated for May. Philippa Gota has more.
Tensions ran high as NRM top officials led by Secretary General Richard Todwong met the district electoral registrars. The officials accused some registrars of compromising the integrity of previous primaries. alleging bias, conflicts of interest, and even claims of accepting bribes to favor particular candidates. Todong issued a stern warning to the registrars condemning any form of corruption that could undermine the credibility of the NRM primary process.
So this exercise we are going for has only two things: the register and the registrars. Only two. Once the registers are okay, the registrars should also be correct. Then we shall have a clean result. But if we have a clean register and the registrars are wrong, we are going to have problems.
He also revealed that all aspiring candidates will be required to sign a memorandum of understanding with the party before participating in the primaries, committing not to run as a dependent if they lose.
That before you go for primaries, that was my thinking. I have not shared with the commission. In my thinking, that we make you sign a commitment form that if I contest and I'm defeated, I will not go as independent. Because we can use that to block your nomination with the National Electoral Commission.
NRM Electoral Commission Chairperson Dr. Tanga Odoi highlighted several areas expected to require heightened vigilance, including Sembabule, Ntungamo, Chiruhura, Chankwanzi, Arua City, Kazo, Mpale City, and Tororo. Odoi also cautioned the registrars against colluding with any candidates, warning that such actions could not be tolerated.
I'm not part of your nomenclature. I'm not part of your lower algebra. I'm not. I went to school. Don't destroy my record. Don't pick money on my behalf.
The NRM primaries are scheduled to begin in May, covering all levels from village chairperson to members of parliament. The process will culminate in the National Delegates Conference, where the party chairperson will be elected. Philip Aguta and Winnie Mukisa for UBC News in Kampala.
But when we went to the registrar to give us a DRR form,
come on in my pocket, tambula about the street, issues are my target. We are what? Unstoppable. We are what? Unstoppable. I'm in a plantation, but on a global mission, internet ambition, full condition. We are what? Unstoppable. We are what? Unstoppable. Oro cash is gone, netagayo karoni, niga mukafoni, money in the zone. We are what? Unstoppable. We are what? Unstoppable. We are good.
With you and MTN together, our ambition is unstoppable.
We are what? Unstoppable!
Mera ngenze mbonipa Sam anazanya roto nganyiga star 278 then hash kujja kuba ngo oyingire mu kazanyo nga sente zino zimula wano zina wangu zino wano milioni 10 ebindi wanasooka biraba ku TV nange saasoka kikiriza ninga mulaye kino kinzo kubanga kituufu oba yaddala tibya mufere sente zona zifunye zona zikoze ki naziwangudde amasanyu nyina mangi ebyoto byange byembadde njagala ngenda bituukiriza.
Ugandan National Lottery. Dream, play, win.
Participants must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. The Uganda National Lottery is operated by Ituba Uganda and regulated by the National Lotteries and Gaming Regulator.
A smile that is white, fresh and beautiful is a smile to be proud of. Discover new Colgate White and Fresh for the whole family with high quality and an incredible price.
Step into a world of excellence, comfort and pride with Royal Foam Furniture, crafted to perfection right here in Uganda. We bring you state-of-the-art living room furniture and bedding products at affordable prices. our wide variety of mattresses include orthopedic, pillow top, spring mattresses suitable for institutions like hotels, and many others for home comfort. With every piece telling a story of royal excellence, our products are built with the highest quality materials made to last. Experience royalty with Royal Foam Furniture, proudly made in Uganda, so buy Uganda and build Uganda. Visit our showrooms at Ginger Road, Chambogo Junction, Bukoto Chisasi Road, and on Victoria Mall, Entebbe, on the first floor.
When you want to relax your body and refresh your mind, welcome to Hotel La Confidential, Aroa's premier destination for luxury and comfort. The only hotel in Aroa City offering a serene atmosphere, breathtaking scenery. Come and discover our exclusive wellness club with packages that include a fully equipped gym, a rejuvenating sauna, steam bath, and a great sky blue swimming pool. For events, our state-of-art conference halls and versatile event spaces are perfect for hosting shows, wedding receptions, birthdays, and more. Come and enjoy our cinema hall and unisex saloon, all designed to meet your entertainment and grooming needs. Bring your family and let your kids splash around in our beautiful Kids Water Park. We are located on Aroa Pakwachi Highway in the heart of Aroa City. Don't wait. Visit us on www.hotellaconfidential.com or call us on 0761 688 181.
Welcome back from that break. Now up next is Buza Commissioner, where your questions, your experiences and your queries are answered by the professionals and the officials from URA. Take a look.
Buza Commissioner.
The next question is for someone called Carol. And Carol is asking about ledger reconciliation. She says, we are struggling with reconciling ledgers for rental tax, especially where a wrong post was made by a client who is no more for many years. And yet, fines keep accruing on the same with no effort from your office to collect this. No one takes responsibility. Who should help collect this? Must someone from Arua travel to Kampala to be supported as suggested by the staff? It also seems as though mobile money payments are not reconciled. Now, Carol, first of all, thank you for raising this. We do have teams in charge of ledgers reconciliation. Now, let me give a background. For a very long time, ledgers have been a point of conflict between taxpayers and URA. We used to manage these ledgers on your behalf, and as taxpayers, you did not have much visibility on what is on your ledger, when you pay, to what tax head have you paid, and for which period. But about 2 years ago, we took a bold step to open up your ledgers to every taxpayer, meaning that when you log in, you see all your payment credits, you see all your outstanding unpaid taxes, you see the last payment, and you have a freedom to allocate that the payment I'm making it for this tax head and for this period. So that is more power given to the taxpayer for us to avoid conflict with our taxpayers over ledger issues. And following that, we have been going through reconciliation with taxpayers so that whoever finds that there was a misposting, because I would like to give an example. Sometimes you have a tenant in your building who withholds some of your income. And once they have withheld that income, they have a responsibility to post that to your credit. But they may erroneously post your credit on income tax instead of rental tax. Now, if such a thing happens, one, you can talk to the withholding tax agent who did the error to collect it by amending. But also if they don't, you can approach any of our offices and tell us that this posting was done in error. It's not for income tax, it is for rental income. And we'll do that for you at no cost. So, Carol, if you have such a query, my first advice to you, approach your URA local office. Should they not be able to solve it, it is their responsibility to escalate it to the headquarters. And if you don't find a quick response in that, please feel free to use any of our online channels, because we have a toll-free call where you can call and get assisted, and I will ask UBC to display these numbers, because the number for toll-free where you don't pay to reach us is 0800-11-700. That number, as displayed on the screen, you can call it toll-free. The other line that you can use is our WhatsApp line, and our WhatsApp line is 0772-14-0. Those are 000 4 times. Again, that one, you can send us a WhatsApp message and you say, I have this challenge. But we also have an email where you can send your issues, and the email for collecting such is services@ura.go.ug. I request that all these channels are displayed. We have a Twitter account, we have a Facebook page. You can reach us on any of our social media channels or through our telephone lines. Now, that is if you don't visit our premises, you can get help still online. But the most important thing for you to know is that you have the right to amend any return that has not been done correctly, and you can do it yourself through these channels, but you can also visit our offices. And you should be able to get the necessary help. You don't have to travel to be here physically. If you're in Arua, send this to the office in Arua, and if they can't handle it, let it be the responsibility of Arua office to send it to Kampala, and Kampala should handle it. And now that we have this channel, I will wait to see your report on whether you have been assisted or the matter is pending, and please mention which office has kept your matter pending, and we will ask them to account for the reason why.
Buza Kamiso now.
All right, thank you, Commissioner, for answering Carol's query this evening. Now, on more UBC News Tonight news, the Ministry of Works and Transport will not rehabilitate district roads in the next financial year 2025-26 if funds are not provided. The Parliamentary Committee on Physical Infrastructure informed the House that the ministry may not achieve the planned rehabilitation due to a funding cut from the required 8 billion shillings to only 27 billion shillings. Parliament is currently scrutinizing the budget priorities for the forthcoming financial year 2025-2026.
The Parliamentary Committee on Physical Infrastructure has presented a report indicating that the Ministry of Works and Transport registered an 85% cumulative completion rate for construction works on Karujumba Bridge in Kasese. It also rehabilitated and maintained 10 kilometers of community access roads through contracting, among other achievements.
Rural bridges infrastructure development. The committee was informed that the ministry is implementing a rural bridges infrastructure development project with the aim of enhancing rural connectivity and access to essential services, focusing on trail bridges for safe passage in areas where traditional bridges are lacking.
However, the committee noted that despite plans by the ministry to construct and grade access roads in district, this will not be possible in the coming financial year 2025-2026 due to funding constraints.
The committee recommends and urges government to fully operationalize the road fund in order to enable it operate within the resources.
This raised concerns in the House, with MPs highlighting challenges faced due to the poor road network in several districts.
The road from Mitiana to Chienzoto is the worst in the country, the worst in East Africa and the world.
Of the road between Nebi to Arua. Right Honorable Speaker, whenever we talk about this road here, what the ministry does is to pick some soil and drop in the pits, and within a week
it is done. But as I talk up to now, Right Honorable, I don't see our road surfacing anywhere. We are still struggling. When it rains, actually, we fail to get to our places.
But as you land in this country, some of you, when it's sunny, you see that time of really dust rising. And you just know that now you have reached Entebbe. Some of those signs are embarrassing to this country.
Some members of parliament cautioned the ministry to consider its priorities, emphasizing road infrastructure maintenance as key driver of socio-economic transformation.
Through Pakwach, Madiokolo, Arua, that road, which was a low-volume road, has been completely destroyed by these heavy trucks. And so my question, and part of this road was a presidential directive to the Ministry of Works that they should work on it using high-grade maram. This has never happened. There's a lot of patch-up work. This road is now in a sorry state. My question to the Ministry of Works, what is the plan?
The Minister of State for Works, Musa Ichweru, responded to the concerns.
From 2006, we voted reasonable resources to do roads in this country. And the graph goes, by 2020, the graph starts to come down. And the graph has continued to tread a downward direction. To the extent that when we come and we ask you, Parliament, that we want 6.4 trillion to be able to address the challenges that we have. And then we allocated 3 trillion.
Minister Ichweru told the House that the merge of UNRA into the parent ministry led to the inheritance of shoddy works from the former public entity.
UNRA, as an agency, did not tarmac any road as an in-house. That is a fact, sir. What UNRA did, and what UNRA did and what we are following to do, first is to make sure that we, as a ministry, develop in-house capacity to tarmac some roads. This is what Namibia does.
That statement you've made about UNRA is a very unfortunate statement, because it would go on record as if we were appropriating money and all for nothing. Okay? UNRA did some work, even procurement and management.
The committee urged government to allocate an additional 52 billion shillings for district road rehabilitation to facilitate transportation and movement. Lydia Chomkama and Gloria Gutabinji, Parliament.
Now, still with Parliament, a heated debate erupted as members of Parliament remained sharply divided over a proposal to criminalize donations made using public funds. The minority report presented by MP Jonathan Odwo on behalf of the Legal and Parliamentary Affairs Committee strongly opposed the current budgeting for donations, dismissing it as a wasteful expenditure. Now, the issue saw MPs split, with some rallying behind the proposal while others stood firmly against it. The minority report further raised concerns over the budget allocated to the Parliamentary Public Relations Department aimed at cleaning the image of Parliament.
Member of Parliament John Taylor presented the majority report of the Legal and Parliamentary Affairs Committee, recommending that government allocate sufficient funds to compensate war claimants in the upcoming financial year. An estimated 521 billion shillings is required to compensate all affected regions, although the government has budgeted only 8 billion for 3 regions, in addition to the 40 billion approved in this current financial year.
Right, Honourable Speaker, this is a very serious political issue in the respective areas, and the committee recommends that the entire outstanding bill of 521 billion be settled during this financial year.
The prioritized regions include Acholi, Lango and Teso.
While the report is indicating that about 24,000 have already been listed to be compensated, we've been hearing that that is not the right figure on the ground.
There was Ombati massacre where 90 people were killed. Those have never been compensated.
Justice and Constitutional Affairs Minister Norbert Mao defended the selection of regions, revealing that a provision is in place to increase the war compensation budget to 150 billion shillings.
In the cabinet, all the other areas were mentioned, the places that deserve attention.
Meanwhile, Eruta South MP Jonathan Odu used the floor to highlight what he termed as areas of wasteful expenditure. In his minority report, Odu pointed to a proposed budget for new government vehicles and a separate allocation for number plates, calling for a halt to the procurement process.
Additionally, we have seen procurement of luxury cars that has become a competitive phenomenon within government. As a result, some officials in government allocate more than one government vehicle to themselves for use by their family members.
Odu also reignited the contentious debate around donations from public officials, insisting on criminalizing the practice.
Why allocate taxpayers' money to an individual rather than to a service area that benefits the general public?
The matter gained further traction as more MPs voiced support for the minority report's position on banning such donations.
Because members of parliament, we also donate. Where do we get the money from? But what we can propose as this parliament is maybe also members of parliament should be allocated money for donations.
Another point of controversy emerged over the Parliamentary Commission's proposed budget allocating 10.9 billion shillings for public image enhancement and 12 billion for CV screening of new employees.
Let's just do the right thing, our image will be done. We don't need to pay somebody to clean. I don't know how they are going to clean that.
However, MP Matthias Mpuga, a member of the Parliamentary Commission, defended the allocations and dismissed Odu's criticism, urging him to step aside on the matter.
You cannot get a vote on my back that you won't be voted because you spoke so much about what you can't clarify.
Parliament has previously come under scrutiny, particularly last year when 4 backbench commissioners shared 1.7 billion shillings.
Each of the commissioners of parliament, for example, have been allocated personal to holder expenditures of 1.372 billion shillings, in total 5.488.
Most of us do oversight work and there is no payment made. It's pending, and then a commissioner who is supposed to be representing us, the commissioners have 5 billion.
Deputy Speaker Thomas Tayebwa cautioned MPs against referencing social media content during plenary sessions.
That's a money, that's why travel also is, okay? And honorable colleagues, commissioners, there is nothing this commission has introduced that wasn't in the previous commission.
Daniel Mugoya, Gloria Gutabinji, UBC News.
Leaders and the people of Greater Mubende sub-region and beyond have expressed hope in the ongoing zonal wealth creation tours by President Lauryn Masika. They say it is a gesture worth celebrating that people have embraced the parish development model and imyoga programs, making the presidential assessment timely. Now, this they said on the sidelines of the leaders' meeting held at St. Gozaga Mirembe Maria Primary School in Kasanda District.
It is a continuation of the gospel against poverty. President Lauryn Masika was in Kasanda on Wednesday to do best what he has done elsewhere, preaching the gospel of wealth creation.
They are happy that the money has reached them and they've put it to good use. However, they have asked for more money. And the answer to them is that yes, our president has agreed that we will invest more money every financial year to our wealth creation program, PDM.
The Buganda leaders should mobilize their people to make sure that they embrace President's message, and in a short time, this region can change, and Uganda can change and become a first-class country.
The presidential visit is to widen his gospel and action against poverty. Leaders say the gospel is worth the time.
We are the representatives of the people, and when the head of state finds time to interact with us,
it is very important and useful to our people.
It's following the principle of PDM, which is bottom up. So when the president comes down to the grassroots with the local leaders and meet the beneficiaries, it's a testament to what we believe in and to what PDM is.
This optimism is shared by many.
They have to visit 1 or 2 women to make sure that we, the foot soldiers, have reached out to ensure that the parish women model program reaches out to the women. That's my mandate, and that it is changing their life at household level.
This may soon see the national resistance movement politically reclaim fully Greater Mubende and the entire central region.
What we're doing is to do service delivery. What we have done, understanding and groundwork to understand from the people why they did not vote for NRM. The issues are that they have not been getting the services. Now what we have told them is that they should elect NRM leaders who will be able to come with the message of transformation.
They are providing opportunity for political assessment of how people are standing. Are we responding to people's needs or not? So I see these tours are very successful, mobilizing the whole country around a strategy which has proven effective in mobilizing the communities and meeting the people's needs.
And we just look forward to hearing from him, to ensuring that the challenges that we are facing, specifically in PDM and all the other programs, are addressed today, and we find solutions immediately, because I think that's why he's moving with the entire ministers and the people responsible.
For now, the president's gospel of wealth creation continues until poverty is put out of action in Uganda. Henry Okrut, UBC.
Thank you, Henry Okrut. Now, 6 districts have signed on to implement climate adaptation financing tools. Now, these districts are Agago, Chiboga, Chikube, Koboko, Kotido, and Moroto. Now, the local climate adaptive living facility implemented by the UN Capital Development Fund in partnership with the Ministry of Local Government is aimed at supporting the creation of climate resilient communities and local economies.
The United Nations Capital Development Fund, UNCDF, is currently implementing the local climate adaptive living facility local in the districts of Bulambuli, Kasese, Kitkum, Nabilatuk, Nakapiripirit, Nebi, Nwoya, and Zombo. The signing of climate adaptation financing tools by 6 additional districts has brought the total number of participating districts to 14.
So while ODA is reducing and will continue to reduce, we critically need the framework and systems in place in the country to harness the existing resources. It is all the more needed as climate change comes at a cost. But also climate inaction is even more costly.
These districts are known to have really had very harsh climatic conditions, a lot of heat, floods when it rains, and a lot of negative effects of climate change. So we are happy to have selected them through a scoping mission.
Uganda faces growing risks from climate change impact, such as erratic rainfall patterns, prolonged droughts, intensifying floods, and rising temperatures that threaten to reverse key development gains. With the support from the development partners, the country is strengthening its ability to reduce vulnerabilities and build resilience to these climate-related impacts.
We're supporting the local program with a €4 million grant, which is 16 billion Ugandan shillings. We started the contribution a year and a half ago. And we're contributing to this program because we're all aware that climate change is impacting everyone in the whole society.
Bringing finance of about $1 million, but we are also bringing expertise. Denmark is one of the most decentralized countries in the world, and we have been working with the Ugandan government for decades on decentralization and local governance. So it's only very natural that we also work with local climate adaptation in Uganda.
Nebi district in the West Nile is one of the beneficiaries of the local initiative, which has notably improved access to clean water and transformed community livelihoods.
Yeah, we were able to construct a dam, and this dam focused has enabled the livestock community in Parombo. Parombo is one of the sub-counties. To take advantage and be able to take care of their livestock. Now the livestock community, they're about 15,000. And in addition to the dam, there was a borehole.
The partners are currently holding a 3-day capacity building workshop in Kampala focused on advancing climate change adaptation. Dennis Igoa for UBC News.
Now, cultural leaders from Uganda and the Democratic Republic of Congo have pledged support for the joint UPDF-FADC operations aimed at restoring peace in eastern Congo. The leaders emphasized the importance of peaceful approaches to ending rebel activity and called for stronger cross-border cooperation. We have the details.
A committee constituted by President Lauryn Museveni to spearhead the monitoring of cross-border security between Uganda and the Democratic Republic of Congo has convened in Nebi district. Chaired by Lieutenant General Taban Amin and deputized by Minister for National Guidance, Honorable Godfrey Kabyanga. The committee's key focus is to re-emphasize unity, peace and cooperation between the two nations, particularly among border communities.
And we depend a lot on one another. And so we must continue to work together as a family and strengthen each other and support each other.
In the meeting, leaders argued that border communities can leverage available opportunities for economic gain due to readily accessible markets across the two countries.
For us who stay at the border, we depend basically on the border for business. So we need peace in that area.
Minister Kabyanga urged cultural leaders in West Nile to use their influence to encourage counterparts in Congo to support the joint UPDF-FADC peace operations for long-term regional stability.
The country has an army. You can't form your own what? Army. FADC is the army of DRC. Now it has joined hands with UPDF. So you can't also form your own army because you're a king, you're a businessman. No. You will be crushed.
The more we meet, things will be fine. The more we meet, all the time we are meeting. Now we met here, we have met here, we are now going to meet in Congo to try to solve these kinds of problems. If you follow the borderline, Ugandans, most of them are married in Congo.
Security chiefs welcomed the engagement and acknowledged the value of being actively involved in efforts to resolve border conflicts.
De ce dont nous sommes déterminés.
I want to say, on Overlook Kingdom, that we are committed to support the government of Uganda.
I want to say we are very grateful for our national leaders for bringing up this framework that unites us.
The mighty UPDF's presence in the Democratic Republic of Congo has significantly reduced attacks on civilians.
Even if there are still some few cases of stealing, goats at night, etc., but killings have come down.
We also appreciate the homely reception our gallant soldiers, the UPDF, received when they reached Mahagi territory.
Nous avons l'opportunité de bâtir des ponts.
Working together, we are able to come up to build the bridge which can bring us to the economical and social development, security, peace, and stability.
Je souhaite plein succès aux présentes assises.
And given our mandate and the role and the work we do, we are going to adhere and work with you until we achieve the intent of the Commander-in-Chief.
The committee will continue holding regular engagements as part of its accountability to Ugandan citizens and to ensure sustained cooperation for peace along the border. Ivan Kahwa, UBC News.
The government of Uganda has approved the recruitment of heads of departments to address critical staffing gaps in local administrative units across the country. The announcement was made by Benjamin Kumumanya, Permanent Secretary at the Ministry of Local Government, who stated that this recruitment initiative is part of a broader strategy to improve efficiency and service delivery at the grassroots level.
For years, many districts in Uganda have operated with minimal staffing, often lacking essential departmental heads. This has significantly disrupted service delivery, a situation made worse by the government's previous freeze on recruitment, which left numerous key positions vacant. Speaking at the pass-out ceremony of 200 chief administrative officers, city clerks and town clerks in Chazanga district, Kumumanya confirmed that the recruitment ban has now been lifted.
Reducing, for example, now I have like 28 districts which do not have DHOs, but already a number of them are already advertising and we are following up. We have 23 districts which do not have DEOs, but a number of them have already advertised. So
he assured accounting officers that the necessary funds have been allocated in the wage bill, giving them the go-ahead to begin hiring within their respective local governments.
Have some submissions that some local governments do not have the wage. So I was challenging them, you either recruit or come to us and show us that you don't have the wage, then we shall go and engage with the Minister of Finance, because you cannot win a battle without troops. You cannot win a game without prayers. So there is no debate or argument about the staff. So
Kumumanya also revealed that the recruitment of department heads is one of the 10 strategic actions outlined by the Ministry of Local Government to strengthen local governance and operational efficiency. Accounting officers from across the country have pledged to implement these reforms, marking a significant step towards the government's vision of more efficient and responsive local governance. As Uganda enters this new phase of local government reform, the emphasis on effective staffing is expected to transform service delivery at the community level. I'm Nafka Farida and Joseph Okol.
For administration, so having agreed with them now in this training,
we used to run, but most of the time we were running away from something. But nowadays, everything seems different. People still run, but they are running towards something. They run to test their limits, to break new records. And when we do it right, we inspire others.
The inaugural Coffee Marathon, uplifting rural coffee women, 24th May at Africa Coffee Park, Ntungamo.
Come, let us run.
To register, dial *217 *413 #. Choose option 4. Or scan the event QR code or visit the website to choose the race options. Brought to you by Inspire Africa Group.
Life in Uganda today comes with so many uncertainties.
Where will Madam get Kameza if I get an accident and can't work? If anything happens to me, what will Junior eat?
Kale Musa is still in the hospital. Guy is missing a lot of money here.
With a monthly payment of only 3,000 shillings off your Equity personal account for Equi-Life Insurance, you will be entitled to 50,000 shillings hospital cash per night spent in a registered facility, up to 20 nights every year. And your family will receive 3 million shillings in case of your death. Visit your nearest Equity agent to sign up today or call 0312 327 000 for assistance.
Welcome back from that break and now into the business scene. When Uganda Airlines begins its first direct route to London on May 18th, it will do more than shorten the journey between Entebbe and London. Now, the business community sees the route as a critical test of the country's ability to transform the national carrier from a flagship project into a catalyst for trade, tourism and investor confidence. Now, at the Uganda-UK Business Forum convened in Kampala, the private sector leaders expressed optimism that the direct connection will significantly lower logistical barriers and open up new markets for Ugandan exports, particularly high-value goods.
The national carrier's upcoming service to London Gatwick, launching on May 18th, is being positioned by government as a pillar of economic transformation, not just a transport milestone. The route to London is part of a larger vision under Uganda's 4th National Development Plan, aiming to increase the country's GDP from $50 billion to $500 billion by 2040.
We need markets for our exports. Uganda is one of those places on earth these days with the huge potential to provide what the world needs. We are having huge potential. We have summarized it in the ATMs.
Treasury Secretary Ramadhan Gobi also used the forum to push back at critics who question Uganda Airlines' profitability.
How do you really do business in Uganda? You start making a profit in the investment phase. Uganda Airlines is just investing. I want to make all Ugandans please understand this. We are investing in Uganda Airlines. Don't compare it with Ethiopia, with the British Air. Now we are going to give them some planes, especially the mid-range aircrafts for the region, some cargo planes, but in a phased manner. After that, we should now start to talk about profitability.
On her part, Uganda Airlines Chief Executive Officer Jennifer Muturaki revealed that the national carrier is committed to growing its international operations in line with the global environmental standards.
The airline industry is now alert to climate change and environmental concerns, and airlines are scheduled to be in business for the long haul. With this comes the burden of financing sustainability initiatives, such as the Sustainable Aviation Fuel, whose regulation falls into effect this April for airlines flying into Europe to blend fuel with 2% SAF in compliance with the IATA 2025 net zero targets.
UK High Commissioner Lisa Chesney praised the route's potential to strengthen trade, but also acknowledged the long-standing visa frustrations for Ugandan travellers.
And I will be very candid with you. The reality is those who overstay visas and don't come back then make it harder for everybody and they increase the risk profile. But with this direct flight and the increases that we expect in volumes of responsible businesses and tourists going and coming back, that will help. There are hundreds and thousands of people every year in Uganda that are granted visas. And I know some of you are in this room, some of you have got multi-year visas, so please don't give up on the process.
For those in the tourism sector, the tone is that of optimism.
So many of the tour operators in the UK are also excited about the route, and they want to send more tourists. Now you can just leave London in the morning on a Sunday, do a trip for 7 days and fly back on a Monday without losing time connecting through other countries. So, and Uganda, having the UK as its #1 source market, we can move from 11,000 to at least 50,000 because Kenya is already doing 180 English people as tourists. We can actually get 10% within the next 1 or 2 years.
And now into the world of sports. We are all excited about tonight's game because Arsenal Football Club is in Spain for tonight's UEFA Champions League quarter-final second leg clash against Real Madrid at the Santiago Bernabeu Stadium. Now the Gunners have one foot in the semi-finals after a commanding 3-0 victory over Real Madrid in the first leg at the Emirates Stadium in London. However, Mikel Arteta's side faces a stern test as the defending champions will look to draw on their wealth of European experience to overturn the deficit on home soil. Now elsewhere, Bayern Munich will attempt to salvage their Champions League campaign at the San Siro, where they take on Inter Milan. Trailing 2-1 on aggregate, the German Giants will need a massive performance from their key players to remain in the competition. The winner between Real Madrid and Arsenal will face Paris Saint-Germain, who advanced to the semi-finals after edging out Aston Villa 5-4 on aggregate. Now, meanwhile, Barcelona await the winner of the Bayern Munich versus Inter Milan tie, having booked their semi-final place with a 5-3 aggregate win. Now, both PSG and Barcelona lost their respective second leg matches but progressed on aggregate. Now, the 2025 UEFA Champions League final will take place in Munich in Germany on Saturday, the 31st of May. Now, may the best team win tonight. Now, UBC News Tonight has come to an end. Thank you so much for your company. I'm Lauryn Masika Kazimoto and my colleague Elizabeth Nakakoni on sign language interpretation. We do wish you a blessed night.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
The family of Mr. and Mrs. Mutebi Abechiza of Chiwenda Cell, Busukuma Division, Wakiso District, would like to express their heartfelt appreciation to the residents of Chiwenda Cell and the neighboring villages, Centenary Bank Fraternity, St. Stephen Church of Uganda, Chiwenda, Nabitalu Catholic Church, relatives, friends and in-laws for the overwhelming support during the time of the loss of our beloved daughter, Ndagire Josephine Grace. The compassion, solidarity, empathy and understanding deeply touched our hearts and helped us find moments of strength and comfort amidst our sorrow. May her soul rest in eternal peace.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Welcome to Super Soul Sisters. My name is Jamila Oluka and you're watching UBC TV Inspiring Uganda. It is such a beautiful, beautiful day today that we have yet again another interesting guest in studio, and we shall be talking about our young ones. You know, I said that as this year starts, we are going to be focusing on the young people. Last time I remember we had teacher Rachel from Kololo SS. We said, no, we have to bring someone else who is also a teacher by training, but at least a deputy, so that we understand what are these issues that these children are going through. How can we help them? How can we as parents work in tandem with teachers to make sure that the future of our children is secure and there is no, how Nigerians call it, wahala.